after the passing of my son, my child, I just couldn't continue staying where I am. Fond memories of me and him spending time together haunts me every single day. And I went into a very depressive mood, very depressive state. I couldn't move, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything. It was a psychosomatic paralysis. I decided to pack my bags and come down to Singapore, hopefully to carve up a niche in this place and contribute to the economy here and be part of the system here. Thought I want to start afresh again to the days when I have not met my son. But after coming down here and putting all my stuff in storage, for a week I powdered the streets. I applied for the social services to assist me. I asked for a counsellor to assist me in getting my feet back on the ground again, gain back my bearings. But all I did was hit my head against a brick wall. The counsellors here in Singapore are cold, nonchalant, indifferent, and to some extent there's a counsellor from the Wesley Methodist Church Counselling Centre at the Fort Canning who was extremely vindictive, condescending, and petty. It was 7 years ago, I think. He told me it was many years. He confronted me, and then there's this look on his eyes, this contemptuous look. He gave it to me and he says, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, I don't remember you." And he says, many years ago, you made an appointment with me and you did not turn up. I said that many years ago was really many years ago because I hardly really returned to Singapore, and if I did make an appointment with you at the Wesley Methodist Church here in Fort Canning, I must have a valid reason because I was in a dilemma at the time too. So I was at a crossroads actually, and I was in my earlier age. And as I recall, it was like 7 years ago. Now this 60 years old scrawny old man, typical Singaporean man, but of course he's not one of those more cultured ones, the educated ones. He's more like he saves on electricity and water by showering and using the counselling centre to do that. So you get the picture. And I said that was 7 years ago. He says, "Yes, you made an appointment and you didn't turn up." I said, "Have you ever occurred to you that the appointment was 1 week ago and I was trying to find my way here in Singapore and I had to eventually move back?" I couldn't remember at the time, was it back to the US or was it to Thailand? So I said that. And I said, "I have neither the time." He says he's not interested in playing games. I said, "I have neither the time nor the inclination to play any games or tell any tales to you. Okay, I'm not made or born like that. And you stop looking at me like I just took something from you." He kept looking at me like I just stole something from him. And I said, did I take anything from you? Did I just steal anything from you? And he couldn't answer me. He was like dumbfounded. And there's this stupid look on his face. And and finally he ended the conversation and said, "Okay, fine. Please leave the place. So I left. There was one bad incident. It occurred in the morning. Subsequently, in the afternoon, I tried calling the social services to speak to the counsellor again. She never returned my call. Nobody returned my call. Towards the evening, I called again. Nobody returned my call. And to add insult to injury, I had my so-called good friend Eric, remember, who's been helping me a little bit here and there. He started jumping on me for a wrong thing I say. For a single thing I said, "You know what, maybe you should just call the social worker and give them a piece of his mind." This is the exact words I say. Now, what I actually meant was giving a piece of advice is just talk some sense into them. To me, I think he's a sensible guy. He's more logical. And I was just implying that he could call them and talk some sense into them and get them to butter up and, you know, show some empathy. I'm not asking for sympathy. He jumped on me. He flipped. He literally freaked out. And says, why do I want to do that? Why do you get me involved? And I said, okay, enough. Stop. I really went through a lot here right now, and I really don't need him flipping on me like that. He was clearly guilt-tripping me, and I wanted to end the conversation. I said, okay, enough. The conversation ends here. He didn't want to end it. He went on with his ranting and his cussing and his bickering. What is wrong with the Singaporeans here? I could never put a finger on that. I mean, it's such a small little problem, and they're making a mountain out of a molehill. They keep stirring things up, and I say, okay, look, enough, stop, just stop. And he wouldn't stop. He wanted to bombard me with all his opinions, or his anger, his lividness on the situation, which I spoke one single sentence wrong, and he jumped on me like a rabbit on a hot stool. And I ended the conversation. I hung up the phone. So we were supposed to meet yesterday. I was in an extremely depressive mood. If you watch my video, you'll see that. And I got a Thai godson. We're not close. He calls me dad out of formality, knowing that I lost my son. So we went out. He was hoping for something, but I couldn't afford to give it to him. And so he said, I'll buy you lunch. And he bought me lunch. I went for a very modest lunch. And I spent a little too much yesterday, so it's quite exorbitant here in Singapore. So we moved around a little bit, and then he went back. I called him, he didn't call me back, but his advice to me was, I don't think you can survive here in Singapore. I don't think you can make it here because your expenses here is too much. My Grab ride, my Kojak ride, my Grab car ride, my taxi fares is amounting to like 40 Sing dollars a day, and I am totally incapacitated to take the public transport. My oculophobia rears its ugly head again. And especially here in Singapore, the people here literally cack and sneeze and spit on the floor, even though the government is that strict about cleanliness. So I was on a lunch table in a nice, conducive restaurant, and this old guy, Chinese guy, Singaporean typically, was sneezing and blowing his nose right in front of our table. And I found it extremely difficult trying to hold my foot down. This is one of my grievances here, and he told me, why don't you get back to Thailand? At least there's the forest there. And then you can hike there, and even though you have nothing to eat, you could still hike there, have your peace of mind there. Here I'm having neither of it. I go to the church, I get chased out. I get this crazy Filipino guy who thinks I was threatening his faith in God. Jesus. What's wrong with the society here or what? I've traveled the world. Never met people like that before. I'm starting to miss the US quite a lot right now because I think the Americans are crazy. They are nowhere in comparison to the people here. So this is just about it. This is my take on my last 1 week here in Singapore, and I'm just thinking that I should bail out today, change my flight to today, and leave. I don't think I can make it here. It's extremely disturbing right now. Take care. Bye.